Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Face Forward podcast series. Face Forward, where you can learn how to become the face of change the voters are seeking, and do it deliberately. Have you ever noticed that some political campaigns end their advertising with a set of memorable words? Almost like a tagline for a brand you might buy in a store or online. A phrase that gets inside our heads, that means something to us, that we can instantly recall. Sometimes we can even sing it. The question is, does it matter? To succeed, does a political campaign need a sign-off line like a commercial brand? And why do only a few candidates seem to have these memorable campaign lines? So here with me, as usual, is Vaughan Emsley, the co-founder of Face Forward. Hello, Vaughan.
Hello, David.
So, Vaughan, help me with this. Does any of this really matter, the ending part?
It does matter, and I'll explain why. Recall, we often talk about how little time voters give to politics, the famous minute a day. Well, that means...
I do.
You do, and that means is that voters are looking for cognitive shortcuts. They're looking for fast ways to understand what a campaign is selling, fast ways to understand what the candidate could mean to them personally. So these campaign lines are really a bite-sized summary of the whole political story, written in such a way that ordinary people can understand it instantly and remember it. Exactly like the slogans used to build great consumer brands and advertising. So a good campaign line has impact in an instant. A good campaign line paints a picture in voters' minds. A good campaign line creates emotion before policy, and a good campaign line is building a brand.
Right.
If a campaign doesn't have this in its armory, or if what they do have is just a random collection of words cobbled together by a committee, it usually means one thing.
What's that?
That they've not figured out a clear, simple reason why the candidate should be elected. Now, that does not necessarily mean they're going to lose,
Right.
but they are definitely inviting it.
Yes. So that's the theory, but what about the practice of it? Can you give the listeners some examples of what you're talking about?
Well, I can, and in fact, I'm going to give you my top 10 political lines.
Oh, great.
Top 10, but in reverse order. Before I get into that, I'm going to say I'm mainly going to focus, in fact, entirely going to focus on positive campaign lines, because positivity builds brands.
Great.
About political branding.
Right.
But there are plenty of famous negative lines, and I'm just going to refer to one. It's the famous "Labour isn't working," posted from the UK from 1978. That's the most negative political advertisement ever produced.
Thatcher, right?
Yeah, exactly. But as we described in recent podcasts, going negative is usually not that difficult. Positive brand building is the challenge. And I'm also going to say that while now we're getting an audience in the UK, I'm going to use some British examples as well. And although they are transatlantic, they really make the same point as the American ones.
Yeah, let's hear them.
So in reverse order, number 10 is from the 1960 Kennedy campaign.
Right.
At the time, JFK was running into heavy weather because many voters thought he was simply too young to be president. At the same time, Kennedy wanted to represent change and a break from the status quo, the new generation, as he called it. So the campaign came up with a brilliant line that squared the circle perfectly. Old enough to know, young enough to do.
Excellent.
It combined experience and action in one sentence, wisdom and energy. And importantly, Kennedy's wartime heroism, remember we always talk about the backstory, gave credibility to the old enough to know part. You couldn't really argue with it.
Yeah, it's a very elegant one as well.
Number 9 is Eisenhower's famous line, "I like Ike," with a song, which I'm not going to try to sing. Now, the brilliance here was not just the rhyme or the fact that it had an earworm quality to it. It's the subliminal message. At that time, America was exhausted by inflation in the Korean War, which happened only 3 years after the Second World War.
Right.
But many Americans were still emotionally attached to Roosevelt's New Deal and were not disposed to vote for Republicans. So Republicans had to walk a careful line. What I did was sidestep ideology altogether. It basically said, don't overthink this, vote for the man who feels right. And remarkably, the slogan became so culturally powerful that Irving Berlin even wrote a campaign song around it.
Right. So, going on, what's number 8?
Number 8, All the Way with LBJ from 1964. Now, this was really about Lyndon's Great Society program and voting rights. In many ways, it was the second chapter of the New Deal. The line has movement in it, momentum. It invites people to jump aboard something larger than themselves. There is confidence baked into these words. It sounds inevitable.
It's very interesting. The song part, is that still something that is something that we can use today? Or?
There's no reason why you shouldn't.
I would hope so.
Because repetition is always important. There used to be a line, if you've got something boring to say, sing it.
Jingles are back in.
Jingles are back in. But I'm going to just divert slightly and talk about Goldwater's sign-off line in 1964, which was, in your heart you know he's right.
Right.
Which is a terrible line, because most people didn't think he was right. and it didn't offer them a solution. And unfortunately, it was transformed to, in your guts, you know he's not. So that's exactly what you shouldn't do.
He lost big, too.
He lost big. So number 7 is a British one, and it's Let's Get Britain Moving Again. This was Labour's winning message in the 1964 election. I promise you we're going to have some more up-to-date examples. But many Britons felt the country had stalled after the war, that it was in decline. There had been 13 years of Conservative rule. The nation felt tired and directionless. But the voters were not asking for more socialism. That's the important thing. And Labour, in theory, was a socialist party.
Right.
So Labour positioned itself not as ideological revolutionaries, but as competent modernisers, people who could get the country moving again in a practical managerial way. And that enabled them to win the first general election they had won in 14 years.
Wow.
Number 6, Happy Days Are Here Again.
Roosevelt.
This was the song, we were talking about songs, and a really emotional campaign line for Franklin and Roosevelt in 1932. If you remember the timing, the country was in the depths of depression, unemployment was high, banks were collapsing, people were desperate psychologically as much as emotionally. What is remarkable is, despite the line, Roosevelt did not initially put huge policy details behind this. He didn't need to. The hope was enough.
Yeah.
And that's important in politics. Emotion often arrives before policy detail.
Well, it sounds very relevant today. I mean...
It does. And politics doesn't really change as much as people think. Human psychology certainly doesn't.
No.
Number 5, you're all going to know, I promise you an up-to-date one, Make America Great Again.
There we go. No.
From a branding standpoint, this is an extremely powerful line, and I think the Democrats have always underestimated, as we said in our other podcasts, how strong a communicator and salesman Trump is. It's clear, it's simple, it's emotionally loaded, and flexible enough that discontented voters can project their own frustrations and aspirations into it. That's one reason why it became bigger than a campaign. It became effectively an identity. And it's become the label by which many Republicans come to identify themselves politically. Now, before I move on to number 4, quick test, can you see a pattern emerging in all this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's about optimism, movement, change. Change is big for any American, and big promises.
Exactly. Forward movement, hope, renewal, the start of something new. And we're going to see that continues in the next 4. Number 4 is Obama's Yes We Can. We all know about that. Now, this is one of those rare campaign lines where people can read many things into it at once, like Make America Great Again. And sometimes ambiguity is a strength because it allows voters to emotionally participate in the meaning. Yes We Can was more less about policy and more about collective possibility. It's re-energizing, it's uplifting. Remember, this was just after the big financial crisis of 2008. Right. And it became really big after will.i.am turned it into a viral music video that spread globally online. So you were talking about, can you sing it? Yes, you can sing it.
I mean, that campaign, it really understood modern culture.
Absolutely, it did. Number 3 is The Man from Hope, Bill Clinton's campaign line in 1992. Again, America was in recession. The voters were looking for a transition, for renewal, for a way out. But what made this line powerful is how it merged the national story with Clinton's personal journey.
Right.
In fact, this idea began as the boy from Hope and transitioned into the man to Hope. So you were taken on his arc of experience. Hope was not just an abstract idea. Hope was literally his hometown in Arkansas.
That's right. It was a total journey.
So the slogan connected biography and aspiration at the same time. And that's what I would call very elegant branding. Number 2, quick journey back across the Atlantic, New Labour, New Life. Labour's slogan when they won the 1997 British election in a landslide, again after 4 election defeats, actually, very similar in some ways to Let's Get Britain Moving Again. The Conservatives have been in office for a very long time and voters felt exhausted. But this line is more emotional than Let's Get Britain Moving Again. It's more personal, and it suggested not just renewal but individual renewal, a better future for your own life. And that emotional framing helped Labour reposition itself as a modern, optimistic and forward-looking party. So, number 1.
Wait a minute. I think we need a drum roll here. I think I know what it is, but Vaughan, tell us.
The number 1 campaign line is, in my view, humble opinion, Morning in America.
I knew it.
The Reagan campaign of 1984. To me, this is the gold standard. It's a perfect campaign idea. Al Riney. The line has everything: an emotional reason to vote for Reagan, a point of transition, the beginning of a new day, forward movement, optimism, warmth, confidence, hope, and a great promise. It's also remembering that the actual television commercial itself was beautifully produced. Soft music, morning light, ordinary Americans going to work, getting married, raising families. It made politics feel emotionally reassuring, and it's no wonder that Reagan won in a landslide.
Oh, it totally pulled you in. I mean, it was so engaging. And it was the essence, I think, of a great campaign line.
Yes, right? It is. That, to me, is the gold standard.
So why do we not see more of these great campaign ideas today? It's incredible.
Well, one reason is this is easy to talk about, but hard to do. It's hard to execute. You need clarity, you need discipline, you need the courage to make choices, and frankly, you need talent. But there's another reason, and in my view, it's even more important. Modern campaigns tend to think about messaging rather than branding. And messaging is usually fragmented, issue by issue, day by day, news cycle by news cycle. Branding is different. Branding is about creating a lasting emotional picture in the voter's mind, a larger story that people can attach themselves to. And that's what many modern campaigns are missing. That needs to change. If that's fixed, you'll see more great lines like Morning in America.
And Face Forward is going to do it for you. So, Vaughan, thank you very much. It's been a great episode in the Face Forward podcast series. Face Forward, where you can learn how to become the face of change the voters are seeking and do it deliberately. So if you'd like to find out more about how candidates' brand building and campaign lines come together to make you the face of change voters are seeking, please contact Vaughan and Scott via the Face Forward LinkedIn page. I'm David O'Brien, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. A new episode comes out every Tuesday. Until then, goodbye, thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great week.